Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James J, alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Kaliko Yachts.
Man, I had to bring out my jacket because it's the winds of change are just cold out here.
And the American Scooter Dust.
I have so many attachments. I think I might be a PDF file.
And it was a great week for Wrestling Wit, as last week on the show we interviewed Brittany Brooks. Incredible interview with somebody that's on the sidelines right now, but I mean, the sky's the limit, and the potential is unlimited when it comes to Brittany. And when she gets back in the ring next year, it's gonna be a sight to see for sure. No, Scooter.
Oh, absolutely, beyond any shadow of a doubt.
And next week on the show, we don't know, but when we know, you will know for sure. Keep on our Twitter page at Wrestling with E for information when we actually know who we're interviewing. Fuck summer. It was a great day for wrestling? Question mark. Vince McMahon retired, or was it Mordor?
Dun dun dun.
What now? Anybody that wants the answer?
Is this like the Who Shot JR moment?
To a degree,
This is
I
more like
suppose.
the Who Shot Mr. More. This is more like Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Are we just going to overlook Johnny Bravo?
He's so pretty.
And
Not
he
that
wouldn't make
Johnny
it in
Bravo is pretty.
2022. Johnny Bravo wouldn't make it now. They would think he was a full-on predator.
We're
But
talking
anyways,
about the guys from Impact Wrestling, not the cartoon character.
Untouchable
oh
monkey.
well, sorry, I'm in Comic Con mode. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you're full on Nordum over there in San Diego. No,
I know. I'm trying to debate whether I want to put this Black Panther costume on in 100-degree weather.
don't do it. Don't be a hero. Just put the necklace on.
I mean,
I'll die. I'll die a hero.
I, I mean, you could be, you could be, you could say you could dress up like a 1960s Black Panther and be like, wait, they're not the same thing?
That is true. Be like Black Panther, Huey, Newt. You're like, we're both the same.
For sure,
Wakanda
Yeah.
forever.
I mean,
Wakanda forever.
I did see show enough today, so that made my day.
in all seriousness, Vince McMahon retiring. Your thoughts, Scooter?
You know, for years and years and years, we have talked about what this is the biggest what if in not just the WWE, but uh, holy shit. And we'll get into the breaking news. Well, maybe not breaking, but this is the biggest what if, not just WWE, but in pro wrestling. When will the Messiah and Pariah of professional wrestling, Vince McMahon, decide to hang it up?
And I never thought he
And
would.
not many people, not many people thought that he actually would either. Everybody thought, it would take death to stop Vince McMahon.
Right.
But the question is Vince really gone? Or is he still playing puppet master, so to speak?
And that was going to be something I brought up later on. But what say you, Kaliko?
Well, I'll answer the first part, the latter part. I think he's gone because the problem, the issue is that so many dominoes fell as soon as he said it, right? So he retires. Stephanie takes over. Khan's co-CEO. They're both co-CEOs. The first thing that happens is Triple H is back all of a sudden, and then Laurinaitis is out. So to me, he has to be gone because that's the power play, right? And I feel like it's been an episode of Empire where the new school has been trying to take over, and the old school is like, yeah, nah, I still got this shit. And this is just something where he can't come back from. And we talked about it earlier. You were like, this could be a ploy. And if it was like somebody outside of WWE that he did that to, I could totally see that point. But the fact that the person worked for WWE is the part where it's the ethic, right? It's the ethic part. Um, to the wrestling fan, to me, this feels like the day LeBron James leaves the NBA, right? Because the IWC has literally made this guy their foil for the longest, right? He's so PG, and they just were relishing for the day that he's gone, right? He's gone. So now anything that happens after this, good, bad, or indifferent, you can't go, well, it's Vince's fault, right? Because he's gone. So now you can't put that scapegoat on him. He will no longer be the scapegoat that you look for. So it's a double edged sword because if it goes good, they're going to be like, see, Vince leaves, finally the product's better. Or if the product goes worse, they're going to be like, well, maybe he knew he was talking about. So this is that ultimate Bone Thugs and Harmony crossroads moment, if, for
And he's
lack of
gonna
a
miss
better.
everybody.
And he's gonna miss everybody. He's gonna miss everybody, especially the girls he used to bang, especially them divas he used to bang. He's gonna miss everybody.
That, that being said, do you think the product's gonna get better with Vince McMahon not at the helm? Or is this a wait and see type scenario, Scudo?
Well, it's most likely a wait and see type scenario. I mean, we can. The expectation for everything to get better is going. It's going to be very high.
But is it so
Uh,
high that it's unrealistic? Partly yes.
that's the other thing. I mean, honestly, I think we've been seeing changes already. Uh, Given they went to TV 14.
Starting at SummerSlam.
Um, this this is potentially the start of a literal new era.
It is. Without a doubt. What about you, Kaliko? You think that the product is gonna get better or worse?
Well, when all this happened and Triple H came back, effective immediately, the first thing I thought about was what about NXT? Because
Shawn Michaels is gonna
they
win it.
Well, he's there, but the point that I was making was that they did so much overhauling when Triple H was gone that now it's a shell of itself. And I don't see personally that much change on the main roster side here and there, but I expect a big overhaul for you NXT, a reversion back to the original
Going back to
because
rock and roll.
you want it, and the reason being is because NXT was. I always looked at WWE like the Jack in the Box of wrestling when they had all these brands because it's like if you wanted the the 80s style character driven uh hokey-ish Raw. If you wanted a mixture of both, SmackDown. If you wanted all the wrestling, NXT. So to me, it balanced each other out, right? All three
Right.
balanced each other out.
If you only partook in WWE content.
Right. Because it was just a big umbrella and you just had your choice of whatever you wanted, right? But when they tried to make everything one, that's where it messes up. So to me, the first thing I asked is, what about NXT? Because they got so much overhaul to do as far as producing the talent, incoming talent, talent that's already there that was already frustrated, so on and so forth. I think Stephanie is going to be more of a brand ambassador as far as like the culture, right? Because she's talks the talk, she walks the walk, she has the rep, so that helps her big time, right? And she's married to Triple H, so there's not really going to be this thing of like infidelity or craziness that Vince did, right? So
You would
that's where that, and I
you would be
think Khan's going to
surprised.
run more of the stock side.
So, all that being said, no, and this is just speculation, pulling it out of my ass type question. Um, was this a conspiracy theory by Stephanie and Triple H to get Vince out?
Could have, because to me, I'm like, who else would have knew that happened? That happened like 8 years ago. I mean, it felt like 10 years ago, right?
It was in 2019, I want to say.
One was 2 years ago, but then they had a couple that was 10 years ago.
Okay,
Because it wasn't just that one;
it was
it was
four.
three women.
I heard
So
four.
to me, it that could have been a play, bro. That could have been, and you know what's funny because it that seemed like a play because of the fact that when Triple H got hurt, they overhauled his whole baby.
Right.
I couldn't put it. I would not put it past you for them to pull that play. I bet he went to his assistant and said, "Hey, leak this out real quick."
Now, I brought this off there. Is Vince really gone? Or will we, and if he is really gone, will we see him in the future, maybe a year or two down the road, Scooter?
Honestly, if we see anything, it's going to be because of it's going to be the Mr. McMahon character, not in a board or executive role or anything like that.
So no, not chairman of the board, executive producer of Raw anymore.
Mm,
Emeritus type shit. I know what you're trying to.
yeah.
What say you, Kaliko?
Oh, we've had this talk. I told you if it was 92, maybe 2022. And the problem is, and the reason why, because 2022, there's so much access to information. There's so much because that was just scratch surface. They could go deeper if they wanted to. So that's why I think he's at the paint because all those changes wouldn't have happened if he wasn't gone. If he was really gonna leave, he would have just said, "I'm taking a leave of absence."
All right. But and then that also begs the add-on question: is he in behind the scenes puppet master, or is there no sign? Will there be no signs of Vince
I bet you. To me, it would be idiotic if Stephanie doesn't talk with her father. But I bet you a package deal is he can't be nowhere near that company.
McMahon? Interesting. Scooter.
Because the problem is that family dynamic, and it's kind of like when the WWE to me is the Los Angeles Lakers. They're a family-run business where everything is in-house with family, so it's kind of hard to say he's gone, but he's gone. Quotation marks.
What say you, Scooter?
I I really think this is it. I think we're not going to see Vince controlling anything at this point.
All right. Well, I haven't given all of my opinion, but my opinion is I think he's gone for now. I don't think he's going to be gone forever. When has anybody in pro wrestling ever been gone forever? This career as in pro wrestling is a pulp job. You do it until you die, and nobody has emulated that more than Vince McMahon. Huh, quite literally, and for him just to up and retire and give up essentially his life. Vince, WWE has been his life for what, the past 50 years? And just then up and leave it all? No. We will hear from Vince
To,
McMahon again.
to play devil's advocate, you know what else? Other CEO that put his life into everything and he had to push it out the paint? Papa John CEO. So it's more than relevant because it's not up to him. It's up to the board.
And this is breaking news. You are hearing it right here, right now, for the first time. Vince McMahon is all elite. That's right, Vince McMahon has gone to AEW.
Yes, he's been checked into the All Elite Women's Retirement Home. If you
Well,
if you hadn't said the W, that joke would have landed better.
what the Impact Wrestling, the TNA Wrestling? I don't fucking know.
Oh, he was already a member of that.
Wait a minute. So is his name Vince McMahon or can't keep it in his pants?
Both.
No, it's gonna be Vince McWoman.
Vince McWoman.
Alright, well, we're already seeing the ripple effects of this decision. It was reported yesterday that Brock Lesnar wasn't going to show or walked out of SmackDown, claiming if Vince isn't here, I'm not here. He did actually appear on SmackDown, as scheduled. What was there any substance to this? Is Brock just a Vince guy? Is he not a Stephanie McMahon guy? Etc. Etc. Scooter.
You know, who knows if this is even true to begin with. And by the way, Vince's retirement is making the rounds on all the major news outlets.
Of course.
The idea I was operating on that this was true was Brock dealt with Vince directly and knew, like I believe everybody else knew, that that essentially Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan, who are now both co-CEOs, aren't really that high on limited appearance talent.
I mean, Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar is a box office attraction. Any which way you see it, he does sell tickets.
Does he though?
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, the highlight of SummerSlam last year was Brock bringing his ass out in the fucking arena.
and that wasn't seeing him for what, 2 years at that point? At least
Mm,
a year and a half.
Yeah, give or
mm,
take.
yeah. I mean, because we all thought he was done.
He thought he was done as well.
I
It's
mean,
weird. It's weird because
yeah.
Vince would cut the check. See, that's the difference. Like Vince knew how. As much as everybody give him shit, he knew how to play Brock like an ace in a hole, homie. Because when shit went down, he would pull that ace in the hole.
Does this mean Brock Lesnar, because this SummerSlam match, originally was supposed to be Randy Orton and Roman, and obviously Randy got injured, and Brock was essentially the break glass in case of. If something happens like that again, will Brock Lesnar be there as the break glass in case of, or are they kind of out on their? They have to do something different.
I think they're gonna do something different. You know what's the first? Who else I thought about when Vince left? Austin Theory.
It's true.
Because remember, that guy benefited the most in that time. So now he's the Money in the Bank winner. Does that mean he gets the successful cash in or not?
He never was fully gone.
I'm just saying, bro. Especially at this point, because we know that Roman's taking time out. For real, for real, for real. Yeah, okay, we got that. So it's not out of the realm. It wasn't out of the realm with Vince there, but now since he's gone, it's really in the air.
I feel like anything involving Roman is way too long term at this point to stop it, and especially for somebody like Austin Theory.
Well, the thing is that Theory got the heat that he got because he aligned himself with McMahon. So the question is this a new Authority 2.0 or 8.0 at this point? I feel like, but it begs to ask that question because the whole point of Theory even being propelled that high was because of them, right?
Hmm. Right. I don't know. What say you, Swiddle?
I mean, I think Theory falls to the wayside after this.
Now, is that maybe in part to how Triple H perceived him in NXT and how Vince McMahon was trying to perceive him on Raw?
Well, the thing with Theory, he was an interesting case because he was the first person to get signed to NXT and then go straight to the Raw roster, and that was by attrition, right? And then he went back to NXT, did pretty good with Gargano, went to the main roster, and now he's, reality or not, he could possibly be the next world heavyweight champion.
Potentially.
So it's like every time Theory kind of gets in there, he's in this weird dichotomy, right? Like he's literally the anomaly of WWE.
Do you think we're going? Obviously, Brock Lesnar, maybe not, but do you think we're going to see any ripple effects from any other wrestlers that maybe were a Vince McMahon guy, so to speak?
Who else is left that's a Vince guy? And
Or maybe
Scooter can
vice
answer
versa?
that one. No, I'm talking about, well, backstage, Ivy, but I'm talking about, backstage, yeah, it'd probably be some overhaul, but roster wise, who else is there? Scooter? Who else is left there?
As a Vince McMahon protege, no one. Honestly, God,
Michael P.S. Hayes?
maybe Omos.
Interesting. Do we see a little bit more of Tommaso Ciampa on Raw?
Oh, you're going to see more Gabriel Stevenson.
I think that was going to happen either way. But we shall see with everything that's happening in pro wrestling and the craziness. From one retirement to another. Ric Flair's last opponent are announced. It's going to be a tag team match between Ric Flair and Andrade versus Jeff Jarrett and Jade. And I'm asking myself, does Jay Lethal get a full tank of gas during this match, considering he's in there with so many fossils? Scooter.
Well, I mean, Jay Lethal could potentially solve the gas crisis in the country in just this one match.
He would be a hero to all of the United States. Continue.
I mean, okay, I understand teaming with Andrade. I even understand putting Jay Lethal in the match.
What?
But why Jeff Jarrett?
That was the first thing I thought. Because I was really was hoping Steamboat would gracefully bring his ass out.
That's a good question. And
I
especially with
mean,
him at SummerSlam, he's going to be the special guest referee.
yeah, and given the fact that he was actually on the SmackDown last night. I guess because Starcast is in Nashville, and
Of course.
I'm surprised it's not. I'm surprised it's not. Well, because we're not in Memphis. It's not Memphis. It's Nashville. I was to say why. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to actually get Jerry Lawler into this. Two guys with heart conditions.
Please don't, because if Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler gets in it, that means the Moondogs are not too far behind.
I mean,
Well, then Dolph Ziggler would have to be in the match. Oh, how did I miss this? Rey Mysterio. And you know why Rey Mysterio?
Yes, Rey Mysterio kills motherfuckers.
He sort of fucked us.
Hey, he ain't. Hey, man, don't do that, man. Hey, you know what? Being a Dago, I'm pending for Ray. Viva la raza, Ray.
suddenly killed somebody in the middle of the ring.
Wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault. The
I'm
six-man ladder
sure.
was stacked.
How many people do you expect to drop kick in the back of the neck and then be like, oh, they died?
Hey man, San Diego got a Ray Day. I can't let y'all put disrespect on his name like that.
You know, we always speculate, oh, who is it going to be? What is going to be the last match? And it seems like every time we get the answer, it's more or less, huh, really? Why do you think that is?
Because it's Ric Flair, and he wouldn't have it any other way. But then again, I did see a skit of Ric Flair bleeding in the parking lot. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, he can still play dead, so he good.
I mean, with all the beta blockers he's on, and you know, like the last thing Ric Flair should be doing is bleeding.
Right.
I know, right? That's why I'm like, man, don't get that dude some ibuprofen. That's just
like with all the blood thinners, and this is.
It does beg the question, is the match going to be good? Scooter.
Oh, absolutely not.
So we
It,
can
it,
get
gonna
the...
be it's gonna be shit.
it will be good for 5 minutes.
Well, if it only stays at 5 minutes, then that's a good thing, right?
It's not gonna stay at 5 minutes. I swear that's gonna be a 30-minute match. With
Oh,
Ric
God.
Flair taking as many bumps as he possibly can, and I bet you 90% of them are going to be with Jay Lethal.
Yes.
So let's send that to Vegas. Over under how many bumps Ric Flair takes with Jay Lethal.
The over under is on how many people are gonna pass out from Flair sucking up all the oxygen.
I mean, he should. It's his last match, Bella the Ball. Although, even though that's his last match, everybody knows his last match was with Shawn Michaels. Let's just stop that. Stop the bullshit. Let's just stop the bullshit.
It was his
I
last
mean,
match in WWE.
No, that's the last match, period.
It's the last match we should remember Ric Flair for.
No shit.
as nobody thought that maybe Ric Flair is going to Randy the Ram this.
What does that mean?
Mickey Rourke in the Wrestler.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
No.
I mean, yes,
No.
we don't get a definitive ending to the movie, but the implication is that he dies in the ring.
Kind of like The Sopranos, the last episode of The Sopranos type shit.
I mean, if Bruce Springsteen, plays into the ring,
Shit.
somebody fucking stop him.
Oh god, help us. We going to hell. We're all going to hell. Well, Scooter's going to hell. I ain't going to hell. Oh god.
Alright, Ring of Honor is doing a show, tomorrow, actually. It doesn't really
Yep.
seem like Ring of Honor is newsworthy at this point. Um, and it does beg the question, why haven't we seen the Briscoes in AEW when they are clearly contracted to Ring of Honor?
Because they just re-signed with Ring of Honor.
But I mean, it would have
Well,
made sense for them to be in
well,
AEW, considering that they're already aligned with
Well,
Ring of Honor.
here's the thing. I believe the Briscoes have gone on record saying they don't actually want to compete in AEW.
Uh, Because it's live. That would make sense.
I mean, maybe they don't have enough teeth to get in. Maybe people will be like, "Oh, wait, it's Jack and Jerry! Run, zombies!"
They're not dead.
Yes, but the fact that they've been able to, for the last 20 years, call themselves the Briscoes. You know, and the one thing about the Briscoes is that they want to be that big fish in the small pond.
You might not
Uh,
be wrong about that.
I mean, otherwise they would have attempted. You know, the Briscoes could have been a Dudley Boys esque tag team if they had decided to sign with WWE when they had the chance, learn to be a better tag team, and not rely on blading and table spots and everything else.
Hmm. What say you, Calico?
My thing, I think the Briscoes are just loyal to a fault. To me, they're loyal to a fault because when you think of ROH, all the stars that got there went and did something except them. So to me, I think they're just loyal to a fault. I mean, it could be. I think it also could be part of what Scooter is saying because I think it's complacency. Sometimes you're happy where you are, you don't want to go nowhere, right? And sometimes that happiness it means a lot more than most. So they were happy in ROH. So why wouldn't they stay in ROH?
And now they're happy in Impact as well.
So to me, it's familiarity than anything.
Um, now, we don't always talk about NXT, but when we do, it's interesting. Um, Cora Jade drew the Women's Tag Team title in a trash can. She is currently one half of the tag team champions with Roxanne. But she claimed that they mean nothing now and then threw them in the trash. Scooter, your thoughts on the Alundra Blaze Medusa gimmick there, and are we going to see the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships again, or is this just like a scrubbage of remnant of the Sasha Naomi thing?
Um, this is honestly, it's utter it's utter crap. I mean, why have Cora Jade turn heel? Why take the belts off Toxic Attraction in the first place? Just like, you know, if they wanted to get rid of the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, there were better ways to do it. You know, it ends up being a setback. You know, people people have wondered for years why there isn't a secondary women's singles championship
Yes.
in WWE. Uh,
The Fox and the USA title.
I mean, it's just ridiculous at this point. Plus, make sure your skateboard stays together. Before you use it.
What say you, Kaliko?
Man, part of me agrees with Scooter in the sense that it's kind of dumbfounded how they treat the women's division. Because to me, it's like it, to me the WWE when it comes to women, it's like there's that one main bitch, and then there's everyone else, right?
Right.
And that's not gonna fly when you got a roster, and you could say WWE everything included. That includes like a Bailey, a Charlotte, a Becky, a Ronda, a Natalia. You know what I'm saying? So it's too many icons to kind of like lay to the wayside. So to me, if they had to just did like built everything just like the men to have like a main title for them to go for, a secondary title, and then a tag title, then it would work. But the problem is with the tag titles, they don't build tag teams.
No.
And that's the ultimate problem because usually when a woman is going through wrestling school, there's not a lot of women. So usually they're used to being in the singles mindset, right?
Right.
So that's where my problem is. If I were WWE and NXT, I would make it a priority to build women's tag teams rather than taking two people who are to complete opposites and doing this whole odd couple bullshit.
I mean, it works sometimes, but really,
It
every
works
women.
when it works when it works when it matters. It
Right.
doesn't. Other than that, it don't work.
Yes.
Like
Definitely works.
prime example, they and I can make an example. They had one, but they let one got pregnant and the other one got let go. The Riot Squad was literally like a unit. You could make an argument they were like the female New Day,
Uh,
except they just did not in the sense of gimmick and wittiness and on the mic, but in the sense of cohesiveness.
okay. Fair enough.
So like the way that they operated as a unit was on par with New Day, but they broke them all up.
Right.
That would have been. Now think of that. Now think of that. Think of Liv Morgan with the title after a cash in with Ruby Riot and the other lady Sarah Logan
Sarah
as
Logan.
tag champ. That would have been crazy.
Right. Unfortunately, you know, it's like you said. Odd couples work when it does, but just throwing two girls together and trying to make it work doesn't always work when it's against another odd couple, and that's just kind of it. But if there are no women's tag team titles in NXT, what does Gigi do? And yes, we make that joke all the fucking time. But no, legitimately, what does Gigi and JC do? Because, you know, if you compare what Toxic Attraction is to what's on the main roster, the Usos and Roman, it gave Gigi and JC a little bit of legitimacy that following Mandy made them something. But now they're just Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder to Edge. Am I wrong on this, Scooter?
Well, clearly, she'll get some shoes. But no, you were not wrong.
What say you, Kaliko?
The only way I can see this saving face is that if, let's say, JC and Gigi want the rematch, and Roxanne has to do it by herself because Cora Jade had to because she threw the belt in the trash. So that in a case would salvage Toxic Attraction while continuing the storyline of Cora Jade. Does that make sense?
It does,
Like
but if they get the titles out of the trash.
the thing is, wait a minute, did Roxanne keep hers?
Did she?
Because that's the thing. If Roxanne kept hers, in essence, you could make it seem like a 201 handicap match in the sense of it's a tag match with the person who doesn't even care about the title as the other partner. Therefore, bringing that title back to existence to possibly merge with the women's tag titles to make it like a all three brand cross promotion title. That's the only way they could save that belt.
Perez is still one half of the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
So therefore, they could ask for the rematch, but only one person is representing the tag titles because Cora Jade chooses not to defend it because it doesn't matter. Therefore, Toxic Attraction already has the heat. They even get more heat for easily winning the rematch, and it helps the tag division. And they could probably figure out, because to me, this is all about buying time to try to actually establish women's tag team. If they prefer to go that route,
I think it's more of a.
it's a pipe dream.
I think it's more of a buy time until EO comes back.
What I hear is EO is not going to be signed.
Yeah, isn't the rumor EO's damn near done? Because their contract's up.
I think they're done, but
Supposedly.
done with NXT.
Yeah.
We shall see. Somebody that maybe should be done, maybe not. Brandy Rhodes is training to get back in the ring. Obviously, this is not going to be with WWE. But does having her own singles run not being besides Cody Rhodes actually help her if she does get in the ring again, Scooter? Kind of carving out her own path.
Yes. And God, I mean, people are gonna wonder, wait, why is she just gonna let WWE put her on? It's a weird situation to me.
What say you, Kalika?
You know me, wait and see. We'll put that bridge when we have to cross it.
Fair enough. And the bridge we cross at this moment, a quick word from our sponsors.